Hello everyone, Kurt over here, and welcome back to another episode from Hope Fitter Labs. Today we're going to be continuing on in regards to our discussion and observation regarding Fiore's first master dagger plays and applying a lot of the work in which he has said in there about how we counter dagger attacks and whatnot. So this one today is going to be a little bit different in regards to rather than making a cover, we're utilizing our footwork and our mobility to offset a shot that's coming at us so that the person ends up stabbing themselves. A couple things I want to talk about this right here is that ultimately understand that this right here is one of the techniques in which Fiore will say is this is not something that's commonly done. However, it is something that is worth knowing about. So I think this points to some other things which we'll wrap up at the very end of the video here in regards to the awareness of things that happen and how much we may or may not actually have everything at our hands and disposal, because people are going to do what they're going to do in order to get through certain things. And we'll talk about that a little bit later on. But with that being the case here, we're going to kick off into it and see what we see. So once again, we're here with Vincent, and we're seeing here, we set up here this shot that's coming from that Mandrito side. Is either a Mazzani or a Fendente blow from above that's aimed towards the top of the head, the temple, all the way down into the bicep area. And we are facing off against a opponent that is striking towards us, which means that either they have come directly at us or they're rounding at us. I bring this up because, again, when we talk about approach is very important when it comes down to using tactics, mechanics, and techniques. And again, when we talk about, when we look at a lot of stuff in manuscripts out there, that's something right there that just, I think that would, for the period of time, that kind of gets massaged out within training and working with like a person that understands what's going on this way, which unfortunately we don't have a lot of that today because we're not fighting with rondel daggers. So the one that I'm talking about today specifically is a defense that he says is not quite often seen in the art of defense, but it is worth knowing. And the image shows, as you can see, there's a person that's coming in from above here, and the other person's got their hand right here, behind their dagger hand, okay? So, again, we see that hand being popped up into position, and we're gonna talk a little bit about what we can do from this position, why it's good, what we can do from here, how certain things fly into different perspectives. And then also, effectively, we can also look here in regards to maybe some other things that we'll be seeing later on with other masters here, but we'll be able to visit that a little bit today. So there's a couple of things that I think right here, first and foremost, that we have to understand. This is just a shape. That's it, okay? So this is just a shape of a person coming in from above. We're in like this right here. And whatever this person is coming at us on, right? I either am standing here, waiting on my portrait pharaoh, whatever the case may be. I don't know what's happening right here. I could be walking around and all of a sudden I see it. We know that it's based upon what the situation is. The Visimento on our situation, okay? So with this dagger hand that's coming at us right here, if I am standing offline, it's very easy that I'm coming offline here by utilizing offline accrescimento to get to the outside of that position. Now in the manuscript he says that by performing this parry, I will get you to stab yourself in the thigh or the gut. So if someone is coming here, that's my angle, right? So I'm coming like this at you. By placing the hand on the outside here, which is in this area, and then slapping it down, okay? So a lot of that, when we talk about what it takes to kind of cause these types of situations, let me make sure this moves a little bit here so it's not so rigid. This dagger is coming in, so we're not coming across in to cover against, which gives us all those spaces where we get different types of dagger covers like we see in most of the first master plays. We're talking about here, the person's coming on here, they're coming with that knife attack, and all they're doing is stepping to the outside and putting it to and through to the ground. So with this hand coming here, the dagger shot's coming in. If I am standing like this, it's a matter of shifting offline. So right here, I have to come over to touch this. The dagger's no longer in this position. So he's coming in, and I'm coming here with this. Maybe I'm getting my hand up like it shows in the manuscript. Whole point is, I'm coming up. And by it being over here, I strike, perform this parry, and it goes right in to their body, and then I have follow-on actions that I may need to take against this assailant. So that is one way we may find ourselves in here. And remember, this is just one thing. This is a shape of a combat situation. So that isn't, again, we're not walking around like, that's not how things are walking around. You know, that's not how people are walking, doing their own things. I might be here and this person comes in this way. Well, now I don't have time to, okay, I'm gonna try to address against this, right? So if this person's getting really close here, there's nothing saying that I can't step back and utilize that tuta volta of the foot. Knife's coming in, and now I'm on this side again. Proximity and situation are always, it's just gonna always be a factor. And that's why when we look at this position, there's a couple ways to do it. Either A, we step the line here, strike in here, now we're moving in on the person. Or maybe I'm here and I'm coming into this. Both of those forward positions get us to the outside of the dagger shot that's coming in us, that's trying to strike to that our left side of our body, so it's their right side. And gets us out of the way so that we can get down with this, and then we're getting into different type of grapple situations. So that is the ideal consideration. And now I want to talk about, again, why this may be. Why is Fiore saying that this is something that's worthwhile noting within the art of defense? To me, this suggests if I am able to simply do this and it hits the person in the dagger leg, that gives us some insight to how much they are surrendering to this shot. This is not us sitting there trying to poke. This is somebody that is coming, and it gives us a gleaning idea that this arm is extended. It's not in muscular control, it's extension, it drops down, and then it turns, right? So if that's the case here, we talk about this defense, that means that this arm cannot be muscularly locked up too much, okay? And now you might be thinking, well, what happens if it is? And that's what we're going to be talking about here, where I'm going to talk about how this may turn into other plays that we will see throughout the rest of the manuscript. So if I tighten this just a little bit, so now when I come offline here, it doesn't go down all the way when I strike it. We may find ourselves in a position here where we are now on the outside. Now I know this is a little bit ahead of time here, but we're talking about third master dagger. Third master dagger is dealing with someone giving a backhand shot at you. So really moving off of their left side to strike. So they're going to be trying to strike here, which is typically coming across our body in the different fashion, right? So instead of coming here to cover an attack, we're coming here to cover an attack. And this is just what, I'm using this right here to kind of talk about how these master covers are not just one play. That's my hypothesis, take it or leave it, that's my thoughts. Knife comes in here, I'm off this side right here. They're strong, maybe they're trying to come back at me. They're not trying to hit me with the dagger, but they're trying to get me off, of their arm. We're here, they're coming back at me up in this way. Now I'm in third master dagger, and I can work to the outside to disarm, pull what I need to do, take the knife away. That's just one way, because again, if I come across this way and then they come back, you have this pendulum that opens up left and right, okay? So that's just simply, again, ideal situation, comes in right here, strike, easy day, go in there, do what I need to do, take the person out. The second thing, coming across here, coming this way, it stops a little bit, I collapse into the arm. Now I'm working off of that cover with the third master dagger here, and I'm working to take control of the arm over top from behind the arm. The final one of this right here is, that's if they're trying to push back at me, right? So if I come here, and like I said, they're low, and I can get to that cover and get over. Well, what happens if I come right here and they stay up, and now they're turning back? Well, just by virtue they're coming back this way, this pivoting, it's just a matter of shifting my hand again. That's why we're not doing this with our arm. So I'm coming outside, they start shifting back again, I come right here, and I'm right back into first master place. Ultimately, this is just talking about shifting. Person comes here, right into the groin, right in the guts, right in the thigh, or here, they're low, and then it gets tweaked backwards, or coming here, and then we set up again, first master dagger place. And that's just some of the things that we may see for follow-on actions. Big thing about this again, two types of footwork right here that I'm seeing here. There's a possibility of this all, and this is how I would teach it. I'm saying how I see it's viable, and it's how I teach it. You're either cresting offline so that you're clear of that shot, or if you're in the opposite foot, we're using tutta volta to get to the other side of the foot. And that's just the observations for this play. So you can see with what we were doing here today, essentially this is a movement about getting out of the way. And again, Fiore talks about making this where you literally parry onto the outside. The image is very clear to me. The hand is behind the other person's hand, and we know that we're talking about first master dagger, which is dealing with the mezzani or the fendenti blow off of someone's right side. This is, to me, a similar concept to what is known in the Lichtenauer systems as Nachreisen, and that essentially, as someone's coming at you, I don't parry it, I get out of the way, and then I go against it. And as was seen within the video of Sword Caliber, which I released last week, my theory is that Nachreisen is actually a great way to make somebody's strength, a great way to make sure that swords penetrate and do the job that they may be. And again, we have some tests to come up with that to kind of validate those theories here in the next couple, hopefully in the next couple of months, because it takes some time to get these things set up. But in regards to dagger stuff, when you talk about this is on someone's arm, this saps away somebody's strength, and it takes away, so if I come here, my strength is going in a certain direction towards an intended target. And the thing is, as I do that, if my focus is right here and that person is no longer there in position, I have to stop all my trajectory just to come back. And to come back from here is much weaker than being here all the way down here where I can go, where I have that full momentum of power and projection, okay? So essentially, when we talk about this position here, and again, that's one of the things that I, in having done this in some of our dagger attacks and the sparring that we do with it, this technique to me indicates the type of attack that Fiore is talking about. And we're not, and again, this comes down to, like I was saying, we're not fencing with the dagger. This is someone that's pulled up and it is a serious, I'm going to stab and hurt you or kill you attack, okay? And again, for the person that he is patronizing these two, it makes a lot of sense that you'd have someone do this because daggers are great assassination tools. And sitting out there waiting for someone to come up and try to figure out, like, how do I approach? In, out, stab, out. You're not trying to sit there and linger around. And that's when it comes to some of these types of attacks, what are some of the things that we're focusing on here? So again, that's just some of the things I want to have us, some insights that I get from this and from the rest of the manual just by looking and observing and practicing Fiore. And I want to share that here as far as that goes here today. But with that being the case, that's going to wrap up the video. Again, thank you so much for tuning in here. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing and sharing with a friend. If you're interested in some of these concepts of Fiore and how like medieval martial arts would have looked like potentially in a different period of time, like I said, leave a comment, subscribe, share with a friend, and please, any thoughts that you have on this, they're welcome here. They're welcome here to be able to have for discussion-wise. Please, this is just how Kurt sees it. This is not necessarily how Fiore sees it, okay? And with that being the case here, again, for all the support that's been out there, I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me. And until the next video, everybody, please stay safe, train well, and fight on. I'll see you all soon.